Hey, Cowboys Nation, this is Cowboys Wire News, your home for breaking news, smart analysis, rumors, and film room insights. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a snap. Let's talk America's team. When the rumor started circulating around league circles, it sounded almost too wild to be true. The kind of whisper that usually dies before it ever reaches the mainstream conversation. Yet, as the hours passed and more voices repeated the same story, the idea of Aaron Donald wearing a Cowboys jersey stopped feeling impossible and started to feel inevitable. From a YouTuber's Mick perspective, this is the kind of narrative that grabs you by the collar. Because we are talking about a generational defensive force possibly anchoring himself in Dallas and redefining the entire identity of that defense. The buzz is not just about a signature on paper. It is about an attitude shift, a statement of intent that echoes through locker rooms across the division. Donald, known for his relentless motor and intimidating presence, would not arrive quietly. The chatter suggests he is coming with a mission, a personal vendetta against the quarterbacks of the NFC East, turning every snap into psychological warfare. Cowboys fans, long starved for a defense that strikes fear before the ball is even snapped, are allowing themselves to dream loudly. The idea being floated is that this move is less about money and more about legacy, about proving that even late in a storied career, he can still dictate the terms of battle and bend offenses to his will from inside team circles. The speculation paints a picture of mutual fascination between Dallas and Donald, a kind of football magnetism pulling both sides together. The Cowboys, a franchise built on spectacle and pressure, are always searching for a move that dominates headlines and shifts power dynamics. Adding Aaron Donald would do exactly that, instantly transforming the defensive line into a talking point every single week. The rumor mill says coaches envision him as the immovable wall in the middle, the anchor that allows everyone else to play faster, freer, and far more aggressive. In YouTube storytelling terms, this is where the narrative deepens, because Donald is not just a player. He is a symbol of disruption. His alleged promise to hunt NFC East quarterbacks is being whispered as both a challenge and a warning. Opposing signal callers would have to speed up their reads, change protections, and still feel footsteps behind them even when he is double-teamed. Cowboys fans imagine a defense that no longer bends but dictates, one that forces mistakes rather than waiting for them. The idea alone is enough to spark endless debates, breakdown videos, and emotional reactions across the fanbase. What makes this rumor even more compelling is the timing within the broader league landscape, where offenses have enjoyed years of rule changes and schematic advantages. The thought of a defender like Donald choosing to step into the spotlight of Dallas feels like a deliberate pushback against that offensive dominance. Sources close to the situation hint that Donald is motivated by challenges, by environments where expectations are sky-high and criticism is constant. Dallas offers exactly that. A place where every sack would be celebrated like a championship moment, and every quiet game would be dissected endlessly. From a narrative standpoint, this creates tension, because it suggests Donald is betting on himself in the loudest possible arena. The whisper about his vow to terrorize NFC East quarterbacks feeds into this myth-making, turning a potential signing into a saga. Cowboys fans begin to picture division rivals adjusting entire game plans just to survive, while analysts speculate on how protection schemes would crumble under his power and technique. Even skeptics admit that if this move happens, it could redefine the balance of power within the division for seasons to come. The locker room implications are another layer that fuels the rumor's fire, because adding a personality like Aaron Donald changes more than just the stat sheet. Teammates would be forced to raise their own intensity, matching his preparation, his physicality, and his refusal to take plays off. In YouTuber language, this is where culture meets chaos, where a single voice can reshape the entire defensive mindset. The speculation suggests younger players would gravitate toward him, learning by example what it means to play with controlled fury. Veterans would feel the urgency to, knowing that a window of opportunity might be opening. The Cowboys' defense, often criticized for inconsistency, could suddenly find itself unified around a central figure who demands excellence. The rumor of Donald declaring open season on NFC East quarterbacks is not just trash talk. It is a rallying cry, a signal that the defense intends to attack rather than react. Fans imagine practices becoming more intense, meetings more focused, and game days charged with an edge that has been missing. Whether or not it materializes, The mere possibility has already shifted expectations from the opposing perspective. The whispers coming out of Dallas are likely being monitored closely across the division. Quarterbacks and offensive coordinators are no strangers to Aaron Donald's impact. But the thought of facing him twice every season under the Cowboys banner adds a new psychological wrinkle. The rumor suggests that his presence alone could force conservative play calling, quicker throws, and fewer deep shots, all out of fear of pressure collapsing the pocket instantly in the YouTube narrative space. This is where the story expands beyond one team, affecting rival fan bases who now debate how to neutralize a force of nature. The alleged vow to hunt quarterbacks becomes a headline that lives rent-free in their minds, fueling anxiety and grudging respect. Cowboys supporters revel in this imagined fear, sharing clips of Donald's past dominance as proof of what could be coming. It becomes less about reality and more about belief, about embracing the idea that Dallas could once again be the defensive bully of the division. As the rumor continues to grow, it takes on a life of its own, blurring the line between speculation and expectation. The YouTuber voice leans into that uncertainty, acknowledging that nothing is official while still savoring the possibilities. Aaron Donald in Dallas represents more than a roster move. It represents a narrative shift, a promise of chaos for opposing offenses, and a renewed sense of pride for a fan base hungry for dominance. The whispers about his commitment to dismantling an NFC East quarterbacks feed directly into the myth, transforming a potential signing into a declaration of war. Whether this story ends in reality or fades into off-season folklore, its impact is already being felt. Fans talk differently, analysts frame discussions differently, and rivals prepare mentally for a scenario that might soon be unavoidable. In the world of sports rumors, this is the kind that refuses to die quietly. As the conversation flows into the next phase of speculation, the focus shifts from how this move could happen to what it would truly mean once the dust settles. In the imagined aftermath of Aaron Donald officially committing to the Cowboys, the league narrative would pivot almost instantly. The defense would no longer be viewed as a supporting act, but as the main attraction, the unit everyone tunes in to watch. In a YouTube-style breakdown, you can almost hear the excitement rising as creators paint vivid pictures of third-down situations, packed stadiums, and quarterbacks glancing nervously toward the line of scrimmage. The rumor insists that Donald's presence would unlock creative freedom for the coaching staff, allowing exotic blitzes and aggressive fronts because the middle would be secure. His supposed promise to terrorize NFC East quarterbacks becomes less of a boast and more of a mission statement. Fans imagine rival offenses shrinking under the pressure, making mistakes born from fear rather than confusion. This is the kind of speculation that transforms ordinary games into events, where every snap feels like it could end in disaster. For the opposing team, the financial and strategic angles of the rumor also add depth to the story, because bringing in a superstar like Donald would require careful maneuvering. The chatter suggests that Dallas is willing to make sacrifices, reshaping contracts and priorities to accommodate a player who changes everything. In the narrative tone of a YouTube monologue, this becomes a discussion about risk versus reward, about betting big to win big. Supporters argue that players like Donald are rare, almost mythical, and that opportunities to acquire them do not come often. The alleged agreement hints that both sides see value beyond immediate returns, focusing on brand, legacy, and long-term impact. The vow to dominate NFC East quarterbacks is framed as a promise to fans as much as a threat to opponents, signaling that complacency is no longer acceptable. Even critics who question the cost admit that the excitement alone could be worth it, reigniting passion and belief across the fan base. On the field, the speculation dives deep into scheme fit and tactical evolution, imagining how Aaron Donald's skill set would be maximized in Dallas. Analysts speculate that he would be moved around the line, creating mismatches and confusion before the snap. From a YouTube storytelling angle, this is where slow-motion replays and chalkboard breakdowns come to life, illustrating how protections would fail and pockets would collapse. The rumor paints Donald as the chess piece that forces every opponent to play reactively. His rumored obsession with hunting NFC East quarterbacks becomes a weekly storyline, a countdown to each divisional matchup filled with tension and anticipation. Fans envision a defense that feeds off momentum, where a single sack can shift the emotional balance of an entire game. The idea is intoxicating, fueling countless hypothetical scenarios and heated debates about just how dominant this unit could become. The human element of the story cannot be ignored. And the speculation often returns to Donald's mindset and personality. Those close to him describe a competitor who thrives on doubt and external noise, making Dallas an ideal stage. In a YouTube-style narrative, this is where the camera zooms in on the man behind the helmet, exploring his motivations and hunger. The rumor suggests he is not satisfied with past accolades, that he wants new challenges and fresh mountains to climb. Declaring war on NFC East quarterbacks fits perfectly into that persona. Giving him clear targets and renewed purpose, teammates would reportedly feed off that intensity, adopting a more ruthless approach to preparation and execution. Fans imagine press conferences filled with confidence, practices charged with urgency, and a defense that plays with a visible edge, whether exaggerated or not. The story resonates because it aligns with what people believe about Donald as a relentless force. As speculation continues, the ripple effects extend beyond the Cowboys and into the broader league conversation. Other teams would be forced to respond, adjusting their own strategies and priorities in response to Dallas' potential power move. In the YouTube ecosystem, this becomes content gold, sparking reaction videos, debates, and breakdowns across every fanbase. The rumor of Donald pledging to dismantle NFC East quarterbacks elevates divisional games into must-watch spectacles, even for neutral fans. It adds drama, narrative weight, and a sense of inevitability to matchups that were once routine. Cowboys supporters embrace the villain role, enjoying the discomfort their confidence creates among rivals. This is how rumors shape reality, by influencing perception long before anything becomes official. Before we roll on, subscribe to Cowboys Wire News, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Your support keeps the Dallas Cowboys updates coming. Tell us what you think in the comments. In the end, this entire saga lives in that thrilling space between fact and fiction, where hope, fear, and imagination collide. The YouTuber voice acknowledges the uncertainty while leaning fully into the excitement, because that is where fandom truly lives. Aaron Donald potentially joining the Cowboys and vowing to hunt NFC East quarterbacks is more than a headline. It is a story that captures everything people love about sports speculation. It promises dominance, conflict, and redemption, wrapped in the mystique of one of the most feared defenders of his generation. Whether it becomes reality or remains a legendary rumor, it has already succeeded in one crucial way. It has made people believe again, argue again, and dream again. And in the world of sports, that might be the most powerful impact of all. The speculation refuses to slow down, and as the rumor matures, it starts to feel less like idle chatter and more like a slow-burn storyline that the league cannot ignore. In YouTube fashion, this is where the tone becomes conspiratorial, almost cinematic, as if everyone is waiting for the final plot twist. The idea of Aaron Donald stepping into the Cowboys' defensive meeting room carries an almost symbolic weight, suggesting a turning point where intention finally matches ambition. The whispers emphasize that this move would not be about chasing comfort or familiarity, but about stepping directly into the pressure cooker and owning it. Donald's rumored desire to dominate NFC East quarterbacks becomes the emotional hook, a personal challenge that gives meaning to every snap. Fans imagine him circling divisional matchups on the calendar, preparing not just physically, but mentally, studying tendencies with an obsessive focus. The Cowboys' defense, long accused of lacking a killer instinct, suddenly gains a narrative of aggression and inevitability. Opponents would not just prepare for a game, they would brace for an ordeal, even without confirmation. This storyline has already shifted how people talk about Dallas, framing the team as a looming threat rather than a hopeful contender. Another layer of intrigue comes from how this potential move would reshape the emotional contract between the Cowboys and their supporters. In a YouTube monologue, this is where the storyteller connects directly with the fans, acknowledging years of frustration, near misses, and unfulfilled expectations. The rumor of Aaron Donald arriving feels like a promise of accountability, a signal that the organization is willing to embrace bold decisions instead of safe ones. His alleged vow to terrorize NFC East quarterbacks resonates because it mirrors the fanbase's own desire to see rivals humbled consistently. The speculation paints home games as emotional experiences, where the crowd feeds off defensive dominance and every quarterback hit sparks collective release. It also suggests a renewed national spotlight, with analysts dissecting Dallas not for what went wrong, but for how overwhelming their defense has become. Even critics who doubt the sustainability of such a move admit that it would restore relevance and swagger. This rumor thrives because it speaks to identity, to the idea of reclaiming a feared reputation that once defined the franchise. That's a wrap from Cowboys Wire News. For breaking Cowboys updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Tell us your take in the comments.